Hello, 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 everybody. I have just got the most wonderful guest all the way from Australia who has come to help us today. Just pass on her wisdom. And we're going to ask her some questions about where she is today in her life and how she got there. We're going to find out about her journey. But one of the things that I want you to notice, so this is to catch your attention, so before you run off onto something else, is just that how do you stay so young? That's one of the things that I want to ask, and that's what's going to come out of this, because you will not believe the how old this how young should I say, how young this beautiful person is. So Kel-Anne, welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream.
Oh, thank you, Sheena. You're so sweet.
And what I want to say is just like, so Kel-Anne, just before we find out anything more, she's a singer, an entertaining, an entertainer, a recording artist, a creative director, as well as a mindset and a wellness coach. And now, one of the things, she's also a consultant at LifeVantage. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that as well. One of the things that Kel-Anne has said in her LinkedIn profile is discovering the power of you, and I think you can all see that she has, and we're going to find that out in a little bit of time here, why and how she stays so young. So even the strongest among us can feel lost, unsure, ambivalent, or unhappy at times. And as a transformational mindset coach, Kel-Anne has said that she can help you understand and manage whatever life throws at you. And I know that life throws quite a bit at us, doesn't it? And how to do it successfully. She believes that you have the strength not just to survive, but to truly thrive. Like, I just loved when I read that on your profile.
Oh, thank
What
you.
inspired
Thank
you to so with the mindset, was still going, so hold on, people, don't be disappearing off anywhere else yet, because we've got that secret as to how Kel-Anne stays so young. So what is it that got you into how do you go from an artist, I mean, we'll ask about your journey there, but really artist to mindset. What, I mean, yeah,
you.
you tell me about that, about a singing artist to a mindset coach.
Well, I might start at the beginning actually,
Okay, go ahead.
because yeah, because I went from the mindset side of it to the singing, to the mindset. It's an unusual journey. So I my family, my mum was a singer, so I was brought up with music. And my mum and dad divorced when I was a baby, and I was told some negative things growing up. So consequently, I didn't have much confidence. So I was always looking at, my mum was on stage singing, but I sort of didn't think about doing that myself. But I loved doing it. And I was in school choirs and church choirs and things like that. But I was very, very shy and had no self-esteem, and lacked confidence like you wouldn't believe growing up. And some traumatic things that happened, and I ended up leaving home at 16, got married at 16, which I look back on it now and go, oh my
I
God,
know, back at
how
16 you thought, I know everything.
but I sort of virtually was escaping, um, trying to escape really at the time, and I was looking for love, and I didn't feel I was getting it home, and I, looking back on it, I can see all the reasons for it. But I went from the fry pan to the fire basically with that marriage. And so I was going through some traumatic stuff there. It was a violent marriage. I was beaten and all that sort of thing. Ended up getting therapy. And I ended up also not wanting to go out. If someone knocked on the door, I'd start shaking. I was having panic attacks. I was in a really bad mental state. So I'm seeing this therapist, and he felt, to help me gain confidence and come into myself, but I was in my early 20s by this stage, he felt I should get on stage to sing as a therapy. So I found, I don't know what you have in the UK, but it's sort of like an open mic night where they let you get up and you sing the band and all that sort of stuff. So I ended up doing that. And it ended up being a 30+ year career.
Wow.
It started off as therapy, but I learned so many tools. And then years later, some other things happened and I had more therapies and I learned more tools. And I just kept evolving, and things would happen and I'd get more tools. And I was really, really interested, even though I ended up, a professional singer and recording artist, I was really still interested in mindset and becoming a life coach. But I always thought that it would take me away from my music, because at that stage I was touring, I was singing on TV, I was, on cruise ships, on land, I was, and I was managing myself. And that's the creative director. I was managing myself, doing the marketing, doing the singing, doing everything. Even sometimes doing the sound and lighting and performing, doing everything. So I was just so used to that, and I didn't want to take my eye off the ball to do my other passion, which was, and I did courses. I studied with spiritual counselors, mentors. You did Tony Robbins courses. I did, Bob Proctor courses. I studied with another lady here in Australia, Sandy Forster. She was absolutely amazing, and heaps of other people. But it wasn't until 2020 that I was able to actually do it. Because of the lockdowns, all my shows got cancelled. Then I got a health issue and I couldn't even do the Facebook lives I'd been doing for my fans. I had to rest my voice. I really had to go within and reflect. So I thought, okay, this is the time I'm going to pursue, and I was talking to a life coach that I had myself, and she said, look, you know so much. She said, you can rent out a room here, where at my clinic, and you can just go for it. No, I want to learn more. I want to do this. And you've learned with Bob, Proctor, you've done all this. No, I want to do more. I want to know more about the business structure. And because places I was looking at, they taught you not just about the coaching, but also, the marketing, the business structure, and how to do it. So I decided I was going to do that. So then I went and had the training. So by the end of 2020, I'd launched the business. I designed my own website. I did everything. All the skills I'd learned over the years, managing myself as a singer, I was able to put, into place to build the coaching business. And so I launched that at Inspired Mindset Coaching at the end of that year. And then the following year, I was still on the health journey. And along with that, that's when I discovered, the product that led me to being a distributor for LifeVantage. And it turned my health around. So, so I went from all the mindset sort of, issues and therapies to being a singer, then to being an actual life coach. So it's been amazing.
It must be to be able to look back and just go, oh, that's why I did that. That's why I did that. That's why, because there's nothing you think, oh, well, I'm leaving something behind, but actually you do realize that you take everything with you, and you need that to make this experience here even more unique. Because, like the universe didn't come here to do, like every blade of grass is unique. So every human is unique. It didn't want to come out and re-splurge the same stuff again, did it?
No.
So for anybody
watching, everything I went, everything I went through created me now. Yeah. So, I'm grateful even for all the, the seemingly not so nice things that happened.
And look at how beautiful you are. And this is on the question. So we normally don't ask women, how old they are, how young they are. But I just wanted to prove a point and about what you're doing. And like you're saying that, when you have a different perception of your life, when you can look back at everything rather than complaining about it, because I'm sure you could have had a lot of complaints about your childhood, a lot of complaints about your marriage. But when we can just, well, that was that experience that led me to this. So here's the reveal for everybody. Kel-Anne, how old are you? How young are you?
65.
You see, when you told me that, I literally nearly fell off my chair, because I was just like, what? So anybody's watching, I'm 53, and I actually thought that you were about 55, to be honest. I thought you were around the same age as me. And so that's where it was. It was just like, oh my goodness. So this is where, you know, I know that there were some secrets that you alluded to, and mindset is the biggest one of everything, isn't it? You know, so do you want to talk about that and then lead us into what led on from the mindset to LifeVantage now where you are?
Well, in what way with the mindset?
Well, it's just that, you know, everything starts with mindset, and just what I alluded to before there was just like how you can look back at your life. So that's 65 years you're looking back on and going, wow, what a story.
Yeah.
Look at my learnings. And you look blessed. Like, this isn't something that you're just saying. You actually, no. You can feel when somebody's blessed from the heart and not just from the mind. A lot of people do mindset coaching, and they're not coming from their hearts. They know it, but they're not an embodiment of it. And that's the difference that I see with you, the embodiment of it.
Yeah, thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, it's it has been a huge journey, and I think Bob talks about it too, attitude. Having the right attitude. Because there have been therapists that I've been to that have said, with what I had been through, that it's no wonder I wasn't in a gutter with a needle in my arm. But it's your perception, is how you look at things. And I do believe that life happens for us, not to us. And, you know, and I've always believed in God. And I believe that I've been put here to learn life's lessons, to experience life. And we can't experience and appreciate the good without experiencing the bad. It's the law of polarity. It's the way it is. So that's been part of my mindset, is to look for the lesson in what's happened. What do I need to sit with it, and what do I need to know? What I need to learn from this experience? If life's happening for me, what opportunity can I get out of this?
I love the saying, look for the miracle. You know, and sometimes when you're in the middle of crap, you just sort of go, okay, I know life's happening for me. Just show me the miracle. Show me the miracle. It's here. Hurry up. It's here.
I know. And it's not easy. And it's not about, you know, Pollyanna and being, you know, Miss happy, happy, happy. We do need to sit with our feelings and our emotions and not dismiss them, because they're our guidance system. So we really do need to sit with it. And a lot of the feelings that come up are strategies that happened when we were kids to protect us, but now it's not helping us. But, you know, it's just a matter of saying, you know, thank you, sitting with that feeling, saying, thank you, I really appreciate your help, but I've got this now. Yeah.
It's like almost parenting ourselves, that we've come to realize that because we became, I think, you know, our emotions mastered us, and we were being guided by them, and now it's to turn that around, and it's just like, no, like, you're right, I love that. It's just like, this comes up, it's just going, but this is really scary. No, it's not. That it's not anymore. I've got this, trust me. Isn't that the biggest thing, actually, trusting self?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And a lot of people that have, you know, severe anxiety and panic attacks, it's the fear of it that makes it worse. So when they actually relax and say, you know, you're not frightening me, I know you're trying to help me, but it's okay, and you talk to that, it just and you do, you know, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, that just gradually just dissipates. And then there's no panic, there's just calm.
Don't you think that's great about getting older, Kel-Anne, is that, you know, but I don't think we have to wait until we're 50s and 60s to actually understand that. I mean, I understand with the chakras, we come out the top at 49. That's why everybody has their life lessons in their late 40s, because you're just out the top of your last chakra, and you're going, what just happened? What have I been doing? But I think you can get there quicker, you know, with people who are younger in their 30s and in their 20s can get this. And imagine if we could teach people how to think in their as their babies. Like, wow. But anyway, that just goes off on a whole other topic. But so
Well, that's
what
right.
led
I mean,
you to
sorry. So that's right, because, and that's what Bob wanted to do, Bob Proctor, you know, because he wanted to go into schools, because that if we were taught life and how it really works in schools.
Yeah, we're taught the wrong. Well, it's just as far as I say, it's corporate training grounds. You know, like yeah, as soon as you go into school, there you go, you're in a corporate training ground. And you know, my son even said that he just goes, well, they wouldn't want to teach children how to think because that mean they couldn't be controlled. You know, they don't want them to think that this way. They want them to think that way. And even funny enough, it was just, I was thinking, I've noticed people with babies now, how they are more like, well, we'll just travel here, well, we'll just travel there. But when you and I were younger, it was like, no, they need a routine. They need to be in bed at this time. They need to do this. And, you know, you can't go anywhere. So we caused ourselves again to hold ourselves in a box of routine. So then when there's change, it's like all hell breaks loose for the child, doesn't it? Well, that's how people your my age, that's how and I brought my kids up then. So then when there's change, it seems like it's wrong. No. We need to keep everything 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Routine.
Yeah.
Holding us in a box. So you've stepped out of that. You're proof as well, is it? So some people say to me whenever they're in their 60s, well, it's too late for me. I've even had somebody in their 30s say, well, it's too late for me. I'm like, cheapers creepers, there's today and there's the rest of your life. How long are you thinking of living for? I watched Warren Buffett this morning and on YouTube, and he said about this woman who bought the business off her and her whole life, etc., and she worked for him until she was 103.
Oh my
God. He bought her business. She built it up from nothing. He bought it off her for millions, and she continued to work for him. And as soon as she stopped working for him at 103, she died the next day or the next year.
Oh
so, you know, he said there's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's no surprising that you know, Bob Proctor died 6 months after he'd reached his long-term goal. His goal was set in 1973 to say he would operate in every single country of the world. And he did it. And then 6 months later, he's not here.
I know, that's giving me goosebumps actually, because when he announced it, he said that the night before he got a call from Mikey to tell him that it was worldwide. I thought, oh no, Bob, find another goal, really big goal, quick.
Oh my God, I just literally got that as well. I just got that when you just said goosebumps. I just picked up on them as well then. Yeah. And so we've always got to have, it's never too late. There's another, you know, how old do we think we're going to live to? But we've already decided. When I ask people that question, sometimes they say, well, I might get to 70. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, freaking hell. Like, there's another 30 years at least get to 100, for goodness sake.
It's a number. It's just a number. And I know it. I've had this with women in the entertainment industry, because, I mean, people don't realize, but I was working a day job and singing right up until I was 39. And in May, when I was my 39th year, I got a tumor on my thyroid, and they thought it was malignant. It was the size of a grapefruit. I'd swallow it. You see this thing coming out. It was massive. And I was having trouble with my singing. So I was working Monday to Friday, singing in a restaurant at the time, Fridays and Saturday nights. And I was getting dizzy. I was having to hang on to things, and wasn't right. 18 months it took them to diagnose. They were going to send me to a psychiatrist because they couldn't find what was wrong. And then finally they sent me to have an ultrasound of my thyroid, because the blood test said my thyroid was great. But they sent me for an ultrasound, and they said, oh my God, you're going to have to go straight back to the doctor. You're going to go to a specialist. They're going to have to operate, you know, really quick. I'm like, oh, geez. I didn't even know where my thyroid was at that stage. I soon found out. Anyway, so they thought it was malignant and everything. So they told me to do my will, say goodbye to my family. After the operation, you know, I probably wouldn't be able to hardly talk, let alone sing again. It was all doom and gloom from the doctors, and I was focused. I was going to survive, and I was going to sing again. the day of the operation, I remember waking up in recovery, or being woken, it felt like, by the surgeon, and he said, "It's a miracle, it's a miracle. It's benign. There were other tumors on the right-hand side. That tumor had eaten the whole left side of your thyroid, but it was benign. We decided not to do a total thyroidectomy. We've left the right side, even with those tumors, because they're benign. Don't know if you'll ever sing again. We won't know for 6 weeks. You'll be able to talk, but for 6 weeks, you can't even try to sing." Well, that was the longest 6 weeks of my life. But through that 6 weeks, I was watching Foxtel, and I was watching all these movies. At the time, I was singing a mixture of different material, sort of like, from Bette Midler to Linda Ronstadt to, a bit of country, a bit of rock and roll, a bit of Beatles, the whole mix. But my passion at the time, I really loved Patsy Cline and country music and country rock. And so I was watching Shania and I was watching the Judds and all this sort of stuff, right? And I made a pact that when I could sing again, that I would record an album, and I was going to go to Tamworth Country Music Festival in January in Australia the following year. So 6 weeks, I started training my voice up again, because I'd been at the Conservatorium of Music before, so I knew all the exercises to do. And I bought, it's a mother and daughter team called the Judds in America, country rock, country blues sort of rock band. And so I trained my voice up with them, their CD. And at the end of that year, I went back to the job that I had that kindly left my position open for me. And I said, put my holidays in for the January. And they said I couldn't have my holidays there. And I thought, no, I've made this pact. I have to do this. I quit. I sold my car. I got my husband to I've got an angel of a husband now. I'm very lucky. I got my husband we hired a sound system. He drove me to Tamworth. I busked in the streets for the week. Magazines saw me. Agents saw me. I got bookings. That was really the start of the major career, was that summer, January 1998 in Tamworth. And so many, and I turned 40 in the November, and I was starting a new career. But so many women at that age were saying they were going to retire from the industry because they'd passed it. It's like, what?
You haven't even started?
I haven't even started. And so I started, trying to encourage women to not look at the number. And like you said, there's so many people say it. Oh, I've got this ache and pain because I'm this age. And no.
You've got these aches and pains because you keep talking about the aches and pains. Stop it.
Yeah, because they've convinced themselves.
Yeah.
That it's going to happen.
That's amazing. And just funny enough, when you were talking about there about that you took so long to diagnose it, I actually, for anybody who's listening, I didn't know about this, but when you go to homeopathy, now make sure you choose the somebody who's been doing it for years and who is well recommended, not somebody who's, anyway. So they do a full body scan, and that would have been picked up, and then they have their tinctures that they can use to help with anything. And it's just like, and if you understood homeopathy, you'd understand homeotherapy. You actually really understand it is not like weaken down anything. It is actually the most potent therapy that you can have. But never mind, that's a whole other story. Don't let me get into that.
I use that for menopause.
So what led you then? Because I know that whenever I've done lots of different companies, there's there's something about the company that resonates, and I've done different products in different companies, and there's a resonation which makes you move on, and then you find the company that you really love. And I know that you find that in LifeVantage. So
yes.
How did you find LifeVantage, and what is it about it that first of all, I know that what you're using is helping to keep you young, But you tell us that story.
Yeah, so that happened when I was on that health journey, and they kept telling me that the conditions that I had were caused from inflammation in the body. And I kept saying to the doctor, well, what's causing the inflammation in the body? So I had like I had a hiatus hernia, so I had reflux and things like that. I had high cholesterol, and my CK levels were high, my liver levels, all these things. I was on a strict diet. I had been for a long time. I had some food sensitivities, so my diet was always quite bland, and which didn't really worry me. And I had treats every now and then, but it was bland. It was nothing I was having that would cause cholesterol. They said, no, it's genetics. It's nothing to do with diet. We have to put you on drugs, to get your cholesterol down. And in the end, they scared me because they said I had some calcification in the front artery of my heart, and it was really imperative that I went on the meds. So I went, okay. Well, I had horrific reactions. The first one gave me, like, I was like dizzy and I had all these things. The second lot of tablets they gave me caused muscle waste. I dropped like 5-6 kilos. It was within a 6 weeks or so. It was just something really quick and stupid. It was just like I lost all my muscle mass. It was just so fast. And I thought, oh, I've got to find answers. So I was praying for answers, something natural, because I saw my mum's health deteriorate until she dropped dead at 76 in her walk-in wardrobe. My grandfather died from the drug they gave him for Parkinson's disease. I had an aunt, something else happened. My grandmother, something. I thought, no, it's got to stop with me. I have to find something natural. So I was on the path for it, and the universe provides. I got contacted by a lady on LinkedIn, actually, and she just said, I really liked, your LinkedIn profile. You were like-minded, and she was telling me what she does. So she said, let's see if we can help each other's businesses. So we got chatting on Zoom, and she started telling me about her health journey. And I said, what is that? What is that stuff, And so she told me about the Protandim NRF2. I took all the information to my doctor and my naturopath, and my naturopath went, oh my God. He knew of Dr. McCord, the scientist that was famous for discovering SOD, superoxide dismutase. And he said, this is exactly what we need. He said, we were going to give you an NRF2 activator, but there's nothing on the market anywhere in the world that is as powerful as this. And my doctor felt the same. I'm lucky. The medical center I go to, my doctor and naturopath work in the same center, and they actually have meetings about their patients together. It is so cool. So they decided no. And then they said, now, because of everything that's going on with you, and everything has to happen quickly because of what's happening with the artery, we want you to go on the Protandim NRF1, the NRF2, Omega plus D3 plus Probia. So they had all this list, which is called a vitality stack with LifeVantage. So I was prescribed to go on that. And we had to do the Protandim NRF2 slowly with me because I had a salicylate sensitivity. So I had to just take little bits at a time and then build it up. Well, it didn't take long. And I was feeling really, really good after a couple of weeks. At 3 months, we did the blood tests. Everything had changed. Everything had changed. The CK levels were normal. The liver levels were normal. My thyroid levels had gone back to normal. All the inflammation markers had gone. The cholesterol was coming down in increments. And 18 months later, it's down more and more. Everything's fabulous. I feel 35, not 65. It's just been an incredible journey. So, I just became a distributor. I had never worked for a direct sales company before in my life. So it was really like, oh my God, what do you do? I had done sales, but I'd never done that before. And I thought, how do I mesh that in with, my singing and my mindset coaching? But it's just worked in beautifully.
It all fits in, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
the singing fits in with the mindset, and then the mindset fits in with LifeVantage. Because if you've got something going on in your body, it tends to affect your mind. I mean, we know that the body is the mind, and the body's an instrument of the mind. And so if there's something going on in your body, it's going to affect your mind. And so then you're trying to do personal development work. Well, you're just like in a flipping, it's like eating McDonald's all the time and then trying to have a healthy mind. Well, it's not going to be. I mean, you could do, if you could use your mind to tell yourself that McDonald's is healthy, but chances are that's going to, that's not going to work. And so when you sort your body out and go with the body, like you say, with natural stuff, then, then that's where you can help your mindset, because it balances your hormones and everything. And then, so it all fits in. And of course, singing, well, I did a singing lessons because I'd been told I was a singer. I played the violin and did Irish dancing, but I never sang. And when I can hear myself in the shower, and I just thought, can I sing? So I went to lessons, and she says, oh, I want to put you through stage 1 singing lesson. It's so funny, Kel-Anne, whenever you're 50 and you go to the singing exam and everybody's this height. I mean, I'm not much higher than them anyway, but they're this height. And I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm doing my grade 1 singing exam, and I come out with a distinction, so I can sing.
Well done.
I thought it was funny, and I would make jokes, and the singing examiner, she just didn't find me funny at all. Like, she would just like do this, like, oh, it's really funny, and she'd be like, do this. And I thought, bloody hell, those kids must be scared coming in here, because I'm scared. She's scaring me. Anyway, there's a whole
intimidating.
So the reason I did the singing was because I also thought it would be good for confidence, because of how you stand and how you have to be to sing, that I wanted to get my voice out. That how do I project? How do I
makes you vulnerable?
Yeah. And so all of that really does fit in. So the 3 things that you're doing just tie in absolutely perfectly, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
I just love it. What a story. Is there any sort of like message that you want to impart? Well, first of all, how to get hold of Kel-Anne, and also, is there any message that you want to impart and give to people? Like, we're coming up to Christmas, always a great time, not so good for some people and really good for others. So, what message does Kel-Anne want to give, and how do they get in contact with you if they want to know more about your product as well?
Yes, so the message would be, believe in yourself, trust in God, trust in yourself, have faith, and you only fail when you give up. And failing isn't failing anyway. It's just showing us that we need to go course correct and go into another direction, and we're learning. So, but just have faith and believe in yourself, because we have the power in us to achieve anything we want to do. But they can contact me. Well, there's a few different places, because there's contacts through the music side of me website, and then there's the other one.
What's the easiest way?
Probably what easiest to remember. Well, there's 2. So you've got one website, which is Kel-Anne-Brandt.com, where they can contact me through that.
I'm going to put the link will be in this as well. Put that in there.
Yeah, and then there's Inspired Mindset Coaching as well.
And you can find you on Facebook, because when I type in Kel-Anne Brandt, there's no other Kel-Anne Brandts running around the place. So it's really, really good. So I'm going to put all the links in the description.
Definitely Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. There was something else I was going to say, and we started talking about something else, and I sort of got off track there. I can't remember what it was. It was a little bit of an inspirational story that I was going to say about believing in yourself and moving forward, but it doesn't matter. It'll come to me probably at 3 a.m.
Oh, well, that's just like, it's been totally awesome having you here. And what an inspiring story. And I'm hoping that all the women out there who are in their 40s, 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, that then your age is just a number. And
it is. Look at Louise Hay.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, I think she started Hay House at 50 something,
Yeah.
and which now I don't think is that old at all. um,
I haven't even begun yet. I haven't begun yet, Kel-Anne. I've just realized. I've only just sort of like woken up and I'm like, huh. I've studied, mindset for 12 years and it's like, oh, I think I'm finally, the penny's starting to drop, which means I haven't even started.
I know. Look, when my grandmother turned 95, she said to me, how old am I today? And I said, how old do you feel? And she said, oh, her eyes lit up, I only feel 16. I still only feel 16. I said, well, there you go. Go with that number.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. How old are you today? Today? Oh, 16. Oh my God. That's a brilliant one. Brilliant one for people to do. That's a mindset change there, right there. I felt my whole body change.
Yeah, because it is.
Beautiful.
It's just a number. It's just a number. It's you're as old, and it really is. You're as old as you feel. And if you have the mindset that you're going to feel 16, you will.
Mm. Super duper. Listen, for anybody who's watching, just reach out to Kel-Anne if there's something that's inspiring you about the story. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. And I always remember the first conversation with her. I was in the back of a big truck in the middle of America doing a Zoom call with Kel-Anne. So that's my first memory of meeting Kel-Anne. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody and goodbye to Kel-Anne for now. And her links are in the description. Just click on them and go and find out a little bit more. Okay, everybody?
Thank
Goodbye.